Hello, my name is Buki and I'm the Environmental and Sustainability Manager for Enable. As part of our celebration for World Environment Day 2026, I have been having chats with 3 people from our senior leadership team, our Managing Director, the Enable Hire General Manager, and the Enable Design General Manager, just to have their thoughts about World Environment Day and what that means to them, and also to see how their role has supported our 2050 net zero target, and also to understand how they will further support us as a business to achieve all the targets we've set for ourselves.
I think it's a time to reflect and pause as a leader and to think about, as a bit of a checkpoint from our leadership around environment and sustainability in the business. We have a strong commitment towards our net zero. We have a net zero plan. We have a strong commitment to electrifying our fleet, doing things more sustainably, using our waste properly, etc. And sometimes that gets lost in the day-to-day. And I think the fact that people come together once a year around World Environmental Day gets you to really reset and think about what that means to us as a business. It's not really a one-off moment either. I think when we do these things, a lot of people tend to align themselves to it's a one-off day, so we're going to do this for one day. It's not about that. It's actually about doing more than that and continuing on our journey. It really, for me, is a strategic checkpoint. It's a delivery point, proof point as well. And what I mean by that is it gets us to set and check to make sure we are doing the things we say we're going to do. We're very fortunate that we have our Planet Mark accreditation, which really holds us to account on a number of things, be it social value, be it carbon reduction, and it helps us navigate our way and look at our behaviours over a period of a year. But I think there's still more we can do to reflect on at what point do we need to be really addressing how we're dealing with climate change and how we're dealing with carbon reduction more than anything.
It's a good opportunity for us to reflect within the Enable Hire business to see where we are against our net zero plans and targets, but also looking at the next milestones, what's on the horizon and what else we need to be looking at to progress. Part of the reflection is also looking and exploring the market, looking at what technologies are coming along, using the time just to explore what's around the corner and how we progress the business further.
So World Environment Day is a moment that we can pause and think about the responsibilities we have in the industry. The choices we make actually shape the places and the communities, and it's not just the projects in front of us. And so for me, it's about building sustainability into the design from the start, so we deliver something which is practical, low carbon, and built to last.
I think it starts with me in terms of keep pushing the agenda. My involvement 3 or 4 years ago was to drive our carbon reduction plan to be one of the sort of few SMEs that aligned to having a descriptive carbon reduction plan which you and I put together about 3 or 4 years ago, and also our commitment to Planet Mark being in our 6th year. It's about driving that forward and continuing to be the ambassador for that. But I also think there's low-hanging fruit that we can still pick and do on a day-to-day basis, be it pushing our use of more sustainable fuels and less carbon fuels like HVO fuels, trying to electrify our fleet and machinery wherever we can, within the bounds of what efficiency and what that place can do. If you look at what we do as a business, we're one of the providers of EV charging and EHGV charging across the UK. And if you look at our purpose and our mission, it's about sustainable environments, leaving legacies for our communities, and reducing carbon as one of our key areas, and the purpose and reason why we do a lot of our projects, be it from upgrading DNOs to more renewable forms of energy, to EV charging, to battery energy storage, solar, etc. That's actually part of our DNA now and what we do as a business. So it's about how do we align that and then start applying that within our business as well, be it making sure that our businesses have electrical supplies from renewable sources that we check, and making sure that we are moving forward with the electrification of our own fleet now that it's starting to age and be replaced. So I think those are the things that we should do, and also help to drive with you the passion and the excitement around what this can mean to us as a business, and get our people behind it.
Enable Hire manage the fleet for the group and the business. We've done a lot this year looking towards reducing diesel across the board. And that's both of our own fleet, looking at reductions in and looking at increasing efficiencies in scheduling, idling reduction plans, things like this to reduce the actual burn. But another thing we've done is looking at our supply chain. Which of our suppliers are using EHGVs, electric delivery vehicles and the like to expand our influence. So it's not just our own fleet, it's also our supply chain partners.
So when I look at what we've done, it's about making net zero part of real decisions. I'll give you a couple of examples. On the current battery energy storage system, which we're currently delivering in West Sussex, my team refined the design in collaboration with the clients, and we removed works which wasn't needed. And this actually led to a saving of over 7 tonnes of carbon. And that's equivalent to driving an average petrol car about 18,000 miles, which is 3/4 of the way around the world. And another project I can think of is the 2-kilometre multi-utility trench route, which we delivered in Oxfordshire. We managed to reuse over 2.5 tonnes of material, and that's equivalent of planting 65 trees and letting it grow for over a decade. And it doesn't really stop there, because when I challenge designs, thinking goes beyond construction too. So designing assets that need fewer interventions and cause less disruption to the communities is also important. And that's why this work matters, because it shows that practical, measurable carbon savings is already happening and can be shaped with the decisions we make every day.
Enable Hire, obviously we have all the assets and we manage the welfare side of the business, and that seems where a lot of the developments have been in the last few years. We're currently using a lot of HVO, which is hydro-treated vegetable oil, within the group rather than diesel and the traditional fossil fuels. This has massively helped reduce the carbon, but we see this as a stopgap measure. It's not the end goal. A few years ago we were working with hydrogen battery energy storage for a lot of cabins. Back then we thought it was probably too soon. It was a little bit early, the technology wasn't quite there. But I see the next 5 to 10 years massive development in this field, and hydrogen is going to be a huge player. It will remove HVO and some of these stopgap fuels as we move to pure net zero.
So looking ahead, the opportunities is to make this way of working the norm. Start with carbon budgets, make reuse the default, and thinking whole life from day one. But I see the real shift coming from collaboration. So that's from the clients, the contractors, the supply chain, and making sure that we're pulling everyone in the same direction. So net zero becomes something that we deliver together and not something we bolt on later. And it's about being consistent as a team. So delivering infrastructure that's low carbon, resilient, and genuinely good for the community it serves. And that's how we can continue to strengthen our commitment.
For me, World Environment Day 2026 is a moment to reflect about what we've achieved so far, but also to remember that we still have a lot of work to do. In our most recent carbon report, we achieved a 35% reduction in our Scope 1, Scope 2, and selected Scope 3, and our carbon intensity based on turnover reduced by 21%. I am confident that with continuous support from our senior leadership team, we will be able to achieve our stretch target of net zero by 2040 and also our intermediate target of 70% reduction by 2030.